Hey, what's up, guys? This video is intended to help any man who has had to deal with a false allegation or has had to deal with some kind of accusation that he's completely innocent for. And we live in this world nowadays that's completely depraved spiritually and morally, and the youth has absolutely no regard in terms of how their actions can impact another person. And 3 years ago, I was a high school English teacher, and I endured a false allegation that caused me to be investigated by DCF and the county and all that kind of stuff. And I lived through it, and the experience was, for lack of a better word, traumatizing. And it caused me a lot of problems psychologically that I am just now beginning to overcome. Hence why I'm making this video. So when you are falsely accused of something, the people who are doing it because they know that they can get away with it in the system that we live in now. That's pretty much what it's all about. It's going to be some women who have the mindset that they can just make an allegation against someone and get away with it, and basically they won't be punished for it. You'll have your reputation ruined because you'll have to be put through something that they don't really care if you're found innocent, because they know that putting you through the process will be stressful enough to damage you on the inside. That's the whole point of why they do it. So if you've been through that, this video is for you, because I'm actually here to talk about it and help you out. So in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about post-traumatic stress. I'm going to share my experience of how I recognized I have post-traumatic stress from this that I have to manage, and what that actually looks like. So pretty much people with post-traumatic stress, they seek help because these events from the past create emotions in the present day that then impede on their way of life. All right. So for example, with me, this event came and went. You know what I mean? Like everybody else long forgot about me and what happened and all this sort of stuff. I moved on to a different career with a different job. But what was difficult was, being around unfamiliar people and having the ability to trust other people, and being very, hypersensitive of if people are talking behind your back or something, like who's always looking for the one who's going to be that person that's like out to get you. And that was one of the symptoms, was that I didn't recognize that at the time, because I thought I kept identifying with these emotions as my own. Like basically what happened to me would be, let me explain how these symptoms manifest. Like pretty much even working from home, or even especially, like the fact that I work from home and I don't even have to be around other people, this still becomes a problem, because while I'm sitting at my desk, or at least this used to occur much more often, I could stew and just seethe with rage at my desk and have these intense emotions that were storming on the inside, but then I'm like being nice to people in my behavior, but there was always this undercurrent of rage that was like very easily triggered. And I would think the worst about every situation. Like, my boss wants to, like, hey, I need to call you and talk to you about something. From the moment that I would get a message like that up until the point that I actually speak to the person, it's just like the theme from Jaws, like dun dun, like me preparing for the worst, and always believing that my life is just a shoestring away from collapsing, and that there's someone could just ruin my life all over again. And like this happened to me when I wasn't quite 40 years old, and I do remember how being at my parents' house, and then me having the realization that I'm gonna have to actually come back from this in some type of way. Like this is the worst thing that this is the most impactful thing that ever happened to me. in my whole entire life, like in terms of the intensity of this whole thing. Like, how am I ever going to make an event happen in my life that's like the best thing? It's too late for me because I'm middle-aged, you know, and like I transitioned to be a teacher because I lost my job from the pandemic. So I thought I was creating a better life for myself, and then these people, you know, destroyed my life. So you know, I had to rebuild, you know, in middle age all over again, and so it split my personality up. And so basically, like, I realized that the dark, you know, intensely resentful, hateful, full of anger, will let nothing go. This dark emotion, it is so cold and dark, this other person. And like I said, like, I would experience, you know, being this person, feeling these emotions, and then I would sort of snap out of it and then be in a sort of blank state of mind. And then I would feel intense guilt and shame, like as if I had actually done something. You know what I mean? Like, I would feel these intense emotions and then feel shame, like not understanding, like, why are my emotions so powerful on the inside? And then the way that these emotions, you know, I will never say anything about these emotions, yet part of me would think that somehow the outside world is receiving the signal. You know what I mean? Like, that's in a nutshell. I'm just trying to explain it in the best way that I can. But yeah, I have nightmares about, you know, this confusion of being in a high school and then just being some, like, I'll have these nightmares where you know, the principal is like walking all over the school looking for me, and I'm like hiding, but I don't know if I'm a student or if I'm a teacher. That's the weird thing about these dreams. And I don't want to go into all these details about it, but that's just kind of what happened to me, and like how my symptoms of post-traumatic stress like manifested for me in my life. And so basically the way that I dealt with this was I finally had this last episode of, you know, feeling these emotions, and I was like, this isn't even me. I don't identify with any of this. This is not in line with anything that I want to do or my present moment or anything like that. So basically I realized I created a name for this and personified it. That's basically what it is that, and then I just told this thing, I said, just go down to the basement, like go down to the basement for as long as you want to seethe. You're going to have to be there because you can't come out acting like that. I just literally like a kid, or like that, like kind of a, teenage son going through like a phase where they just dress in black and like have, you know what I mean? Like that type of thing. And it's just, that's what I've done, is I just have personified these dark emotions. I've condensed them into a whole other person, right? And currently I've told that person to go down to the basement, and he's down there. So that's one way that I consciously dealt with it. The other thing about this is that I realized that there's another person that came out of this, which is sort of like a super ego version of myself. And it's a whole separate, I don't want to talk about that person right now just because I want to focus on helping you guys in this video. So if you guys share this video and you find it helpful, then let's talk about it, because I can go into more detail about like the whole post PTSD personality change, like how my personality is like, it's 3 different personalities. It's like the id, the ego, the superego. Like that's just how it is. And then, you know, I'm the kind of bland person I am right now is sort of in between. You know, it's not the superego. That's a whole different other side. So now I want to talk about pretty much what we're going to do to move on from this, to start taking steps to really like move on for real. And so we move on and on and on in life, and this is just how it goes. The same exact way that you don't think about that person you didn't like in kindergarten or whatever, who like just did something to piss you off, you know what I'm saying, that you maybe held a grudge against him for years on end, and you'd always think about, oh, what if I saw them again? you don't think about that. So just in the same sort of way, we can kind of fade this memory in the same way that you don't think about that anymore. So we can sort of fade this memory. And what we can do is just walk down. It's like a flight of stairs. And we're going to walk down, say it's like 37 steps. And, just 1 foot at a time. I mean, you're just walking right up to this staircase and you see that it's brick and it's just leading down to a door. So we just 1 step at a time. We just go 37, 36, 35, 34, 33, 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. We're seeing that door. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're there. And we see the door, and it's a arched doorway. It's an arched doorway, and there's a knob on the left side. And we're just going to go over it, turn it. We turn the knob, and on the other side of the door, we step out and we see a huge grassy plain with a cluster of trees just right out there in the green grass. And it's just an open plain with this cluster of trees, tall, maybe medium high trees, but they have thick trunks, so they're going to be great for anyone that wants to build something with them. And the sky is blue, and it's just a few yards through this grassy plain. So we go walking towards this cluster of trees, and we're walking with our head high. The sun is shining right on our forehead, and we feel nice and big and strong. And in our right hand is an axe, and that axe has two words burned on the handle. One word is faithful, and the other word is true. And this axe just feels great in our hand. We just can't wait to swing it. And we're walking up to these trees with the trunks, and as we approach them, we see all of these slanderous, foul names, all of these accusations that you heard these people say, these accusers. All of those foul words are on the trees. Each tree has a word on it, and we can see it clear as day. So we take the axe and we walk up to that first tree. We look at the word. It's a word that triggers you. It's a word that you hate. And we take that axe and we see the blade reflect the sunlight which just hits us right in the eye. And it just fills us with energy because we take that axe, we swing it, and we hit it right in the gut of that tree. The blade just goes right in because it's so sharp and because we're so strong. And we just swing that axe and it just hits that word, hits that trunk. And you swing it again and you knock it clean over. And it just hits the ground. We hear it fall. And we see it laying there, just completely dying, 1 second at a time. And then we turn around and we see another tree, and we see another foul word against us, another slanderous accusation against us that's not true. And we take that axe that says faithful and true, and we chop that tree down and watch it fall like the one before it. And we go through this cluster of trees, this cluster of foul names, and we chop each one down with that axe that is faithful and true, because only the truth stands in our reality. So we chop each tree down, and it makes more space for that cloudless blue sky and the sun shining right in the center of it. And we stand there and we look at what we've done. We've chopped down all these trees, and we hold the axe. And the axe that says faithful and true, we hold it up to the sun, and it transforms into a magic wand. And we point it down at that cluster of freshly chopped trees, and we hit it with a beam of light. And all of a sudden, in the grassy plain, it turns into a temple that's just for us. And that temple has stained glass windows all over it. And so when we enter the temple, we exit out of the direct sunlight and feel a nice cool draft and the smell of a church. And we can see the light from the sun pouring through the stained glass windows, creating a lot of color inside the temple. And the sun is shining, and right at the center of the temple, right in the middle, we walk right up to an altar, a beautiful altar with a book that's open on it. And we walk up to that altar, and we see the book, and we see that the book is the Holy Bible, and it's turned to the book of Psalms. And it's going to be chapter 6, verse 4. Come and save me, Lord. In your mercy, rescue me from death. In the world of the dead, you are not remembered. No one can praise you there. I am worn out with grief. Every night, my bed is damp from my weeping. My pillow is soaked with tears. I can hardly see. My eyes are so swollen from the weeping caused by my enemies. Keep away from me, you evil people. The Lord hears my weeping. He listens to my cry for help and will answer my prayer. My enemies will know the bitter shame of defeat. In sudden confusion, they will be driven away. Chapter 7, verse 6. Rise in your anger, O Lord. Stand up against the fury of my enemies. Rouse yourself and help me. Justice is what you demand. So bring together all the peoples around you and rule over them from above. You are the judge of all people. Judge in my favor, O Lord. You know that I am innocent. You are a righteous God, and judge our thoughts and desires. Stop the wickedness of evildoers and reward those who are good. God is my protector. He saves those who obey him. God is a righteous judge and always condemns the wicked. If they do not change their ways, God will sharpen his sword. He bends his bow and makes it ready. He takes up his deadly weapons and aims his burning arrows. See how wicked people think up evil. They plan trouble and practice deception. But in the traps they set for others, they themselves get caught. So they are punished by their own evil and are hurt by their own violence. I thank the Lord for his justice. I sing praises to the Lord, the Most High. And just like that, we see an angel who rings a bell. And it is done. I hope you guys can use this as a way to try to heal. The first thing to know is that you're not alone. And when you go through something like this, it's impossible to talk about. But just know that you got your brother over here who knows what you've been through. And I'm just here to help. Hope you all have a good night. Peace.